protecting your credibility as a writer using credible sources. Who do you trust more? If we look at these pictures, who do we trust more, just on glance? Most of us are going to say we trust the man on the left. But why? Let's look at that. Think about that. Why? You see a shirt, tie, a suit, dress shoes. Looks pretty well put together. Looks like he'd be well spoken. Then we get this man on the right. Has a hair thing going on that makes Donald Trump look somewhat normal. Anyway, not to pick on the Donald. He's trying to make America great again. Just look at this, just based on appearance. Most of us would trust this person more. Right, what we're doing is talking about trustworthiness, credibility. It is important, especially when we write and we do research. We want to pick something, when we look for sources, pick a source that is going to exude some confidence, that we can believe, that we can trust. Credibility, the quality of being trusted or believed. As writers, we want to be believed. We need to be believed. However, we must use sources and evidence that is also credible, or our own credibility, our own perception, the perception people have of us, will be lost. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Source credibility. When looking and doing research, the biggest thing we can do to ensure that we're using reliable sources is use a library research database. Examples include EBSCOhost, Points of View, and there are others that our colleagues with Middle School Library have for us. So there are others. Let's take a quick look at them. Go to the Collins website, you click on the Library Media Center, and you click on Research Databases. You're going to see some sources in here. Periodicals. With EBSCOhost, you can do an academic search, web news. If you click on this, it's 18 different databases. Just click on Research Database. And we'll continue. All right, and what you end up with, so you can go up here and type in any topic. I could type in homework, effectiveness, search, bam, measuring homework effectiveness, bam, casual inference in educational effectiveness research, the effects of homework on student achievement. You can find items. Some are better than others. You'll need to go through and look, but you can find items. You could also, if you have a controversial event, Points of View is another good one. These are already vetted. These have already been made sure that they are reliable and that we can use them. Sometimes, though, what we want isn't there. It may be more timely. It may have just happened. For example, Mars, within the last week of the screencast, they found flowing water on Mars that may not be up in the database yet. Therefore, you might have to go on Google or YouTube to find text or videos, news clips. But how do you know that they're credible? That they're not going to ruin your own credibility as a writer if you use them? All right. Thanks to the Appalachian State University Writing Center, there are 5 questions that we can ask ourselves. Who is the author? Is he or she known or respected in the field? If the author is credible, the author is well known, well respected, chances are the source you are using is also credible. For example, if you had 2 points of view on Middle East diplomacy, one article is written by President Barack Obama, the other one is written by Sam Dawkins. The one written by President Obama is probably more reliable, more credible than Sam Dawkins. We don't even know who Sam Dawkins is. I made it up. Therefore, it's definitely not credible. So who's the author? Do we know who it is? When was the material published? This is key. Use recent timely articles. If we were going to do something on Mars, you'd probably want an article written in the last week rather than an article written in 1970. A lot of exploration has been done. New information has come out. If you use an article from 1970, it's going to be outdated. There is an exception. And this is where I have to look at primary and secondary sources. I'm going to quickly go through this. But all right. You can use primary sources. These are sources created during the time period being studied. So if you're going to study the Revolutionary War, you would probably want a primary source from that time period. If you found something, some document written during that time period, it's okay. Even though it's a few hundred years old, it's okay. Primary sources can include speeches, historical documents, letters written during that time period, autobiographies, photos, public records. These are all primary sources. I Have a Dream speech by Martin Luther King, primary source, but it would show you what the civil rights movement was like in 1963. It's okay to use that. Declaration of Independence, a postcard. Primary sources we can use. If it's not a primary source, though, we want something that is more recent. Quick rundown on secondary sources. These are interpretation or analysis of a primary source and can include textbooks, databases, literary analysis. But the key thing is make sure it's timely unless it is a primary source and you have a reason for using said source. Third question, what is the purpose of the source? Why am I looking? What was the purpose? The central idea. Right. Does it contain clear, unbiased facts? You want clear, unbiased facts. You want it to be factual. No opinions without any true, concrete evidence. If it's just opinions and somebody spouting off, we don't want it. It's not credible. How is the source proved? How do we prove things? With evidence. Always look for evidence in articles, just as like we must use evidence to support what we write. Textual evidence is key. Make sure it's factual. Our fifth and final question, is the website or what I'm looking up online, the video, from an organization or author we can trust? Do we know who put it up? This will give you a quick little rundown of trustworthy versus non-trustworthy. Trustworthy, if it has a .gov or .edu, they have to be a government agency or a university to get that domain name online. They've already been vetted. We can trust them. Well-known news outlets, CNN, New York Times, Fox News, yes, I guess we say Fox News. Credible, well-known nonprofit organizations such as the American Red Cross. You could use these. Now these will have .com, .org domain names, domain extensions, but they are well-known. They have built credibility. You do want to trust or look at .com and .org sites because anybody can create them. For $15, you could create Mr. Ward is the greatest teacher in the history of Collingswood Middle School .com. It's true, by the way. But you could create that, and that's it. Doesn't mean that it's a credible site. Blogs or sites run by one person or a little-known organization may not be trustworthy. Should not use it. Wikipedia, I'm sure, has been drilled into our heads over and over again. Anybody can get on and change it. Do not trust it. Period. Wikipedia is not a source that I ever want to see. Don't use it. Don't try it. We're moving on. Do that. Use credible sources to protect your credibility as a writer. And if we do that, you're going to have an awesome paper, an awesome project. I can't wait to read them.